What's on Your Minda contains honest, intimate, and uncensored depictions of mental health issues and experiences. Content and trigger warnings can be found in the description for each episode.
Hello! And welcome back to another episode of What's on Your Minda? We are too excited because this episode's being released on Halloween.
Halloween. That's the sound of your past regrets echoing.
Damn.
Real deep, real fast. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Yes, Halloween is a celebration for what?
I don't know the history of this.
Me
but
neither.
It comes from the word All Hallows Eve, right?
Oh.
Because the next day is, Hallow means like spirit or ghost. I mean, not ghost, but like spirits and stuff. So it's the eve. So the next day is like All Hallows Day, which this is actually coming from, I think, Christianity, if not mistaken.
Oh.
Because we call it All Saints Day or
Oh.
All Souls Day, one of those, which is the 1st November. So the day before is Hallows Eve, which is Halloween. A little bit of
Interesting.
history. If that's wrong, we're going to edit it out.
Yes.
But apart from that, I don't know the history of Halloween. All I know is that it is a celebration that people use to celebrate spooky stuff.
Yeah, paranormal activities.
Yeah.
Right?
Everybody dresses up, they go trick-or-treating. This is in Western cultures.
Yeah.
You can't really trick-or-treat here. Nobody
No.
would open their door and give you candy.
Oh. I don't know why that's so funny.
No, it's true, right? Can you imagine like kids down the street going like, "Hello, buka pintu.
Saya nak gula-gula.
Nak gula-gula."
Pergi sikit. Oh, tak boleh.
Tak boleh.
Kenapa?
Because here in Malaysia, we don't really do those things. We don't
Yeah.
really dress up as spooky things and
Glorify lah. The
Ah,
Western
correct.
culture. But speaking of paranormal things, Amanda, have you had a paranormal experience? Lived experience?
I have not, and thank goodness for that, because I would not ever want to have a paranormal experience. How about you, Diana?
I have not too as well, and thank goodness for
Thank
that.
goodness. If you were to tell me that you were someone who could see things, because I have some people in my life who said they can see things,
Oh, wow.
I would say keep that information to yourself.
Oh,
Do not tell me if you see something over my shoulder.
whoa.
Let me be oblivious. Let me be ignorant. I don't want to know.
Yep. But how would you know though? Like, would you feel things?
I don't think I would feel it. But if
Okay.
someone told me, then I
Like,
would
what would
start,
happen?
pseudo like feeling like someone's
Watching.
behind me.
But it's real, somebody's watching me.
Yeah. It's like that feeling of when it's there in your mind, you start to feel like it's actually there, actually present.
So, is it psychosomatic?
Perhaps.
Are you overthinking it? Is it a paranormal experience? Huh?
I don't know. But I feel like, going back to mental health, we sort of have seen the trend in history, at least, that people have said these paranormal experiences were more realistic than if it was a mental health disorder.
Ooh, we're getting to dangerous territories here. But really, really important, right? Because
Yeah.
a lot of times, from my experience in the career, in the field, even with talking to my peers and colleagues, it's very common, especially in Malaysia, for you to be like a culturally informed clinical psychologist. You do have to have knowledge and a sense of openness to talk about paranormal experiences when
Yeah.
it comes to meeting clients with mental health disorders.
Yes, very true. And that actually reminds me of this TikTok. I keep seeing this guy create sort of depictions of or reenactments of his own experiences with schizophrenia,
I know.
right? And we'll link it in the description.
Yes.
And it's really, really scary.
I know.
To see that.
Devastating. Yeah.
There was one that I think went pretty viral where he was in the mosque and he was praying. And so he sort of showed that there are people around. And at one point when he looks up again, these people are looking at him.
Yeah.
And if that's what his brain is doing and making him think that, it is really, really scary to go through that and not have an indicator if it is real or not.
Yes. Which makes a lot of sense. And I'm going to ask you a question, right? Like, imagine it from that video, right? Like in that video that he was praying at the mosque and, suddenly people are turning up to him and then they were like praying in reverse, by the way. Scary stuff. And then started staring at him and then started smiling in a really creepy way, eerie way. How, if you were in that situation, how would you know if it's, a hallucination or if it's actually paranormal?
Exactly. I don't think I would have the answer. If I was in that situation, I'd be freaking out.
I know, me too.
If I didn't have an answer, if I didn't have an understanding that I have schizophrenia, that I have hallucinations, and I see this for the first time, I would truly believe that it was something supernatural or paranormal happening.
Which makes a lot of sense why a lot of people, at least Malaysians, and that they do go and see a spiritual healer first before to kind of rule that out before they actually see a mental health professional when they seek out for support and treatment when it comes to disorders like schizophrenia, for example. It's like, how can you tell?
How can you tell?
How can you tell?
Especially
honestly?
if you are someone who's more spiritual and religious yourself, you would definitely want to go to someone who may have answers or may have the means to sort of help you with this. Right? Because historically, we've seen that the connection between like religion or faith and mental health issues or schizophrenia or even hallucinations, let's say, it's been very, very closely linked over many, many, many centuries. Right? And so in the past, there would be a lot of talks about demonic possession. Which could very well have been schizophrenia
or
other things, other psychosis. But it was viewed as demonic possessions. Therefore, the treatment was something that would get the demons out, which was usually religious. And spiritual.
So it would be like exorcisms.
Yes, exorcisms.
What
prayers.
else?
Yeah.
Spiritual healings.
Yes, exactly.
And then I think from there, when medicine became a bit more structuralized or structured or introduced, it became mental illness was still kind of like viewed as
something to
bottom
cure.
Of the pit,
And also
bottom of the pit. Like, oh, you're like, you can't be saved. You're treated as kind of like terrible, and that was also the condition of those mental health asylums. Right? And treatment was also pretty invasive. Where they drilled holes in your skull.
Because of the belief that the pressure in there would have led to some of these issues. But I have also seen, sometimes it's not just about the pressure. Sometimes they believed that demons would come out when they do that.
That's what I read as well.
You can see how even though it was more medical, the original
Still.
like religious sort of spiritual beliefs were still layered on top of that.
And you can definitely read more about this in the history of how mental illness was kind of recognized, then developed until today. But that was kind of how the journey was back in the day, which makes a lot of sense where stigma comes from, right? Because back then it's very much associated to you being kind of like a victim of possession or demonic possession, and being targeted, or you have like weak soul, for example, or they kata sini kurang iman or iman tak kuat, things like that. That your spirit and spirituality is
weak.
Weak and wavering, not unwavering.
Yeah.
When in fact it just could be mental illness, right?
That's so true. I think because of that stigma that you mentioned, people would not seek mental health reasons
Yes.
or understanding as reasons
Yeah.
to know that, okay, this is schizophrenia, these are delusions, this is a hallucination, because they're surrounded by information that states the opposite, where
Yes.
it is not that, it is purely because there's other things, paranormal, supernatural
Yeah.
forces at play.
Yeah. And on top of that, that also comes into people feeling like they've kind of inflicted this on themselves,
Yes.
right? So that they feel like they deserve this kind of,
Torture.
Yeah, struggle as a form of punishment or, I don't know, like trying to bless yourself from all your sins and things like that. So yeah, or it could be a form of jealousy and however reason that it somewhat is now internalized and saying it's all my fault. That's why. And that actually stops people from reaching out for treatment and support, like when they can actually get support.
Yeah.
And with that being said, not only just treatment, but also people who are not taking medication as well, right? That can actually help to alleviate the symptoms that they experience with hallucinations, delusions.
Yes. Because they believe that if it's not a mental health issue, if it's more a supernatural issue, medication is not going to help.
Yeah.
So they stop taking it, and then the symptoms become worse.
Yeah.
And obviously then it's going to be much harder to get back on track.
Yes.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, something came to my mind. Have you heard of a movie or a book called A Beautiful Mind? So it's about
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, it's about a mathematician who actually has schizophrenia. And the movie actually shows how his hallucinations are presented.
Oh,
Yeah, and
okay.
they are basically a combination of hallucinations and delusions. And it's interesting because from that point of view, it's nothing about demonic reasoning or, supernatural reasons, right? So that also tells me that I guess it depends on the culture, depends on how strong the belief of spiritual beliefs are within that culture in itself, right? Because and it's just like, is it coffee or is it tea? I don't know if that makes sense.
I'm
But
trying
it's
to
still a
find the
drink.
sense.
It's still a
It's
drink.
still a
What
drink.
flavor you want? Do not
Yes,
drink.
yes. True.
Yeah.
So in some cultures, the flavor is basically it's tinted with faith, religion. In other cultures, the flavor is just supernatural. It is just paranormal.
Or it's just you losing your mind.
Yes,
Right?
you losing your mind. That could be another flavor,
Yeah.
right? But
Or in other cultures, they believe in aliens, for example.
oh yes, like you've been probed
Yep.
and given these like visions and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I think that could be something that's really difficult to counter because I don't know, what do you think about this? Because I feel like sometimes education and awareness that there is another explanation, which is from the mental health perspective, can be enough to at least give people these options that, hey, maybe it's not a ghost that's haunting me.
Yeah.
Maybe I've got schizophrenia.
Yeah.
You know?
The chemicals happening in my
The
brain.
chemicals. Yeah, exactly. Or maybe it's not that I'm losing my mind, but this is something that I can seek support and help for
Yeah.
so that I don't become worse.
Yeah.
Right? What do you think? Do you think education and awareness is enough?
Not enough, I would say. I mean, education and awareness is a step, right? I think another part of it is, again, openness
Yeah.
to consider these other options and maybe to not pathologize or use spiritual reasons as that's as linked, so deeply linked to mental health struggles, if
Yeah.
that makes sense. Yeah, that's a whole other topic for another day. But I would say awareness and education is the first step. And I think it's important, right? Not only within the patients or within the community of families and friends, but also within the spiritual healers themselves.
Yes.
Because they are actually a great source of referral. Because people do go to them. Like, I would say, instead of like going against them, let's work together collaboratively because it is part of our culture. And again, like, we can't change a culture overnight kind of thing.
That's true.
And maybe there's some parts of it that's healing for some people, for some cultures. So it's more of how can we integrate,
Yeah.
like,
Not to isolate between these professions, but
yes,
that having it work together actually would be so much more helpful for the patients,
yes,
for people who are experiencing this.
I agree. So despite that, how mental health has somewhat evolved, right, from last time being it very much linked to evil spiritual possessions, and then to like brutal mental institutions, and now I guess a bit more normalizing and a bit more. There's a lot of development when it comes to treatment for mental illnesses. That's a bit more inclusive, a bit more developed and advanced.
Yeah.
How
More
come
holistic as well.
Yeah, holistic. Yeah. How come there is still a belief of paranormal reasonings for mental health struggles? What's your opinion, Amanda?
I think it's what you said just now, right, with regards to stigma. Because the belief still exists because I feel like people find it easier to think that they are being possessed or maybe something is playing with their mind than to believe that they have a mental illness. Because the taboo is that's worse.
Yeah.
Right? It's worse to have schizophrenia than to maybe be haunted by paranormal forces.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard of this a lot because it's quite rampant in Malaysia. That a lot of people will explain away something by saying oh, it was a black magic spell that was put on someone.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that can be one of those areas where it's so much more widespread to say, I think it was witchcraft rather than it's schizophrenia.
Yeah.
Which is quite tough, I think. It's because when we asked the question in the beginning, when you're like, if that happened to me, how would I respond? Would I think it was... And my immediate answer was, no, I would think something creepy was happening.
Yeah.
I would think it's supernatural.
Yeah.
Even though I know these things exist. I
Yep.
know that hallucinations exist. I know that schizophrenia is a thing. It's real. But as a CP myself, as a clinical psychologist, my thoughts immediately went to something supernatural is happening.
True.
It's so normalized
True.
that is more common.
On top of that, right, I my thoughts about it when it comes to why it's still so rampant, right, within our culture or our society, on top of it being a stigmatized thing, I think it helps to kind of, maybe my thoughts, to kind of take a step back, that it's something that's happening to me, that this awful thing is happening to me is not completely my fault.
It's not from me.
It's not from me. It's not a me thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right?
You're right. You put that distance. I think a lot of people would feel more comfortable blaming something else, an external force.
Yes, that's what I have in my mind. And it's also a double-edged sword, because sometimes it also feels like, it's not fully within my control. Yeah.
That's true. It's a double-edged sword. So one of it's a bit more comforting to think that it's an external force, but the other part of it is they still wouldn't seek too much help for the internal things because they believe it's not internal.
Yes.
And so they'd continuously only go for things that would help with reducing the possible external forces, but not actually seek help or seek understanding that it may be an internal reason.
I want to know your thoughts, Amanda. What do you think about hysteria?
Hysteria, if you don't know what hysteria is, it is a diagnosis that was given to only women.
Oh.
Because we have uterus.
Oh.
And they believed at a certain point that our mental health issues stemmed from us having a uterus.
Wow.
Did you know that?
No.
That's why they call it hysteria. Because when it's I believe it's like the Greek or Latin or the scientific name for the uterus.
Oh.
That's why they call it a hysterectomy when you remove the uterus.
What?
And they used to do that to women because they thought that was the reason they used to remove their uterus.
Oh. So, tell me, what can a person do when they experience these symptoms, demonic or not? What would be a great first step for them, in your opinion?
Oh, that's a great question. I think that's why I was talking about just now. What about education and awareness? Because if they already had access to that information, that knowledge, they have more options to know what might be happening. If they don't, then at least they could go to what you mentioned earlier. If they are spiritual, they go to a spiritual healer, and the healer themselves could tell them that these are possibilities.
Yes.
It could be paranormal, it could be mental health related.
Yep.
Right? So the community or the person they go to seek answers, be it Google, right?
Yeah.
Could also give them these options. So that would probably be first step to try to understand what's going on.
So keeping also the spiritual healers educated and informed, or collaborating with mental health professionals to be like, okay, how do I refer to you? Come to me, and things like that. Like, what are some of the signs, and how can we collaborate and work together? So that would be part of it, right? So I guess what you're saying is more of a holistic approach.
I think so.
Of getting treatment, right? So in any case, if you do find out that most of the time dealing with schizophrenia or related disorders, it's really great to get psychiatric medication and support to kind of help out with the symptoms, to kind of help out with regulating those symptoms as well, whether the hallucinations, the delusions, to kind of help you to, I guess, bring sense to what you're bringing a stronger sense of reality.
Yes, correct. Because I think you can only do everything else when there's a bit more regulation or reduction in your symptoms. For example, the other approaches would be like things like therapy, seeking support from friends, family, community, self-care, all of these things. You'd be able to do it at a greater extent when your actual symptoms have been managed, be it medically. If you're medicated, your symptoms are reduced, you can do more of these other things that will help you even more.
And I want to emphasize on self-care because, for example, regulating or making sure your sleep is well checked is so important, because if your sleep is not well taken care of, it can actually make the symptoms worse.
That's so true.
So, and also as well as diet and nutrition and exercise, all of this actually really helps to create a sense of routine, which helps you to ground to reality.
That's true. I think that's probably a good place to start. So if anyone's confused and maybe they're watching this, at least they've gotten some steps to start with. I think I would also like to give a little PSA to the mental health professionals, because we've mentioned that, hey, maybe spiritual healers could educate themselves on the mental health perspective. We could also educate ourselves on the possibilities of other perspectives as well. Because I think a lot of us have been trained in a way that we only look at one explanation for things, which is from the mental health perspective, right? We could either look at it from biopsychosocial model, medical model, whatever it is. But we fail to see that for some of these patients, a therapist or a mental health professional connecting to them on their level, if they come saying, hey, I think I see ghosts. For us to connect with them on that level will be super helpful compared to belittling and dismissing their concerns.
True.
Right? So if we can match them there, I think at the very least, even if we don't believe it, we don't push people away when they come for help.
And just another disclaimer to the people, that is actually part of our training, right? That our beliefs does not actually impact our client's treatment. For our audience who might be wondering, how can you tell between a difference of your thoughts or an auditory hallucination?
I feel like maybe I cannot answer this because I don't have many experiences with schizophrenic patients or clients. But what I have heard through research or readings is that there's a different quality of the voice. Because sometimes our internal monologue sounds like us. Right? Or it comes to us as a thought or as an image. But for auditory hallucinations, it sounds like someone is speaking to you,
Yeah.
right? That you know that this does not feel like me. Someone is speaking to me. So that may be the best way to differentiate. So firstly, you gotta ask yourself, have I noticed that I have an internal monologue? I do. I speak to myself in my head all the time, but I'm not hallucinating,
Yeah.
right? But if you're not someone who has that internal monologue going, then it may be a bit harder because you're not sure, is it me? Is it hallucination? Is it this voice? So maybe being aware of that first.
Yes.
But that's the difference I have heard.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is aligned with some of the things I've read as well from people from actually lived experiences. How do you actually differentiate between thoughts and hallucinations, especially auditory? Would be, like you said, thoughts would be internal from your own point of view or your own voice, whereas auditory hallucinations is, for some, they said it feels like someone's talk. It's an external voice and it's another person's voice, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, pretty spot on.
Yeah. I would say that, for example, some people would experience suicidal thoughts as very scary and thinking that it is a hallucination, like someone's telling them to do it. So that's also something that's probably even harder to differentiate. But just to, either way, because it's a suicidal thought, to have it checked.
Yes.
Check it out. Seek for support anyway.
Yeah.
So someone else could also help you to understand reality.
Yes.
And help you through that. With that, I think the holistic approach is probably the best way, but there's still going to be so many other aspects of this that are not yet covered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
And sometimes it's about, if you don't find what you're looking for in this podcast, looking for the information online could be very helpful, or finding people in the community could also be very helpful. So hopefully you get the resources that you need. But if you have more questions about schizophrenia, mental health, the topics that we discussed today, feel free to comment on this episode at YouTube or Spotify. Or you can also DM us on Instagram or TikTok at Minda Psychology. Or you can reach out to us through email at hello@mindapsychology.com. We also have our website, which has a lot of resources and other podcast episodes at mindapsychology.com. This has been another episode of What's on Your Minda. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.